Rachel. Okay, so I don't have much time, but I'm gonna do a little bit of your bedtime story to start out with because I promised I would, and I gotta wake up in like fucking like 7 hours, which sucks. But anyways, so there's not gonna be any funny voices for this first part because it's the foreword. What this book is it is The Failure of New Economics, an analysis of the Keynesian fallacies by Henry Hazlitt. So you want an economics textbook to make you fall asleep, so here's what you get. But this is the foreword. So this is by Murray Rothbard, one of the greats. Started a little bit serious. I'll work on the silly voices a little bit later. But alright, I'm talking too much. Anyways, I'm going to light the cigarette and we'll get this started. For most people, economics has ever been the dismal science, to be passed over quickly for a more amusing sport. And yet, a glance at the world today will show that we pass over economics at our own peril. The influence of economic ideas on human history, especially political history, has been momentous. How different would the lives of all of us be if Karl Marx had never lived and spun his fatal vision? In the 20th century, the most influential economist has been John Maynard Keynes, who swept the world of economists like an avalanche in 1936 with his General Theory of Employment, Interest, and Money, his teachings quickly becoming a new, entrenched economic orthodoxy. Henry Hazlitt, in this vitally important and desperately needed book, throws down the challenge in a detailed, thoroughgoing refutation of Keynes's general theory. Anyone tempted to scoff at this debate is simply a tempest in an abstract academic teapot, unrelented to the current practical world, might ponder such statements as these, which can be found unquestioned and unchallenged in almost any news magazine or newspaper column, such as, "We need no longer worry about a depression, because now government knows how to cure it, with deficit spending and built-in stabilizers. The government X $1 billion of military spending is a useful prop to the economy. Business will now improve in the next quarter because government intends to grant more and more contracts to run a longer deficit. To check the threat of inflation, the government should impose high taxation to sop up excess purchasing power. The government's main economic duty is to stabilize the economy and ensure full employment." In contrast to the capitalism of the 19th century, which emphasized thrift and production, our modern capitalism depends for its prosperity on consumer demand. I've never actually read this forward, so I'm not sure where the important parts are, but I'm going to skip a little bit towards the end of it because this part looks good. But yeah, on a more serious note. Sorry that I wanted like funny voices and shit, but it'll come, I promise. I'll work on them. Anyways, so the ending. Keynes's general theory is here riddled, chapter by chapter, line by line, with due account taken of the latest theoretical developments. The complete refutation of a vast network of fallacy can only be accomplished by someone thoroughly grounded in sound, positive economic theory, or Austrian economics. Henry Hazlitt has that a groundwork, an Austrian follower of Ludwig von Mises. He is uniquely qualified for this task and performs it surpassingly well. It is no exaggeration to say that this is by far the best textbook in economics ever written. Lost my place. Mises' work set forth the completed structure of the modern Austrian theory. Hazlitt's fine critique of Keynes, based on these principles, is worthy of compliment to the great Human Action by Ludwig von Mises, which when you get really in-depth in economics, it's a book you have to read every parts of it. It's really fucking awesome. It's kind of dense, though, so you might want to work up to it. I couldn't even read the whole thing because I haven't taken enough classes, but anyway, so the last paragraph by Rothbard, great guy, by the way. Anyways, Henry Hazlitt, a renowned economic journalist, is a better economist than a whole host of sterile It's not even... I'm sorry, I'm a little drunk. I had a few beers earlier. We're in the hot tub. It was fun, but all right, I'm gonna keep going. You're not gonna fall asleep to this. I mean, fuck, I'm even trying. But Henry Hazlitt, a renowned economic journalist, is a better economist than a whole host of sterile academicians. It's not a word. Academicians. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna change this and say scholars. Because that's the word he was looking for, I think. Because Rothbard's weird. But anyways. And in contrast to many of them, he is distinguishedly by courage, has the courage to remain an Austrian in the teeth of Keynesian Holocaust, along the side of Mises and F.A. Hayek. On its merits, this book should conquer the economics profession as rapidly as did Keynes. But whether the currently fashionable economists read and digest this book or not is, in the long run, immaterial. It will be read. It will destroy the Keynesian system. At the very least, there is now a new generation under 35 to bring this message to function. With that, an introduction to refutation of John Maynard Keynes, a horrible person, which I'll of course represent in future dialogues such as this with a big bad wolf. I'm going to work on it. To sound something like, there are few who would deny, as of now, 17 years later, that the book has a greater impact on economic analysis and policy, even in this short time, than any book since Ricardo's Political Economy. And I'll represent the more noble Henry Hazlitt with a far better voice, such as the most famous economist of the 20th century is John Maynard Keynes. The most influential economic book of this present era, both on theory and economic policy, is The General Theory of Employment, Interest, and Money, published in 1936. The fact is recognized not only by its admirers and disciples, but even by its sharpest critics. I think that's enough time. I really gotta go to bed. But I hope you enjoyed this. Hope this will at least help you sleep a little bit. At least you saw me, right? So okay, absolutely. But I miss you. I can't wait to see you and all that stuff. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube, and I'll send you the tags to it, so you should be able